What's up, you guys? Antonio fishing the 419. So I just decided I want to make this video. I got my Daiwa Tatula CT. Just came in the other day and I ordered these Spool high-speed bearings that I've been wanting to put in rods. So as you say, these stock bearings, they're not bad. They're not bad at all. It's honestly a very smooth reel. Picked up some Spool bearings. I'm gonna show you guys how to put them in today. And to tell you the truth, I've already opened up the bearings, I've already prepped them, I've already cleaned them, flushed them, lubed them, flushed them, and then installed them. So these are ready to go. I'm going to keep those off to the side. We're going to break down this Daiwa Tatula CT. So you got a little side panel right here. You can take a coin, it's like the size of a coin, if you want me to be honest, but whatever works. I have a little screwdriver.
Those are really as big as they're small, but it'll get
There you go. Once it's up, pop this side plate off. There's your first bearing right here. So what you want to do here is there's a little safety pin. It's a little square octagon safety pin right inside. What you want to do is you want to take a flat screwdriver and you want to place your thumb over the one side of it and apply the pressure, because this thing will fling off. You do not want to lose that. So pop that out. Came right out. Now that's loose. Go ahead and grab that and we'll set that down. Don't lose it. Now let's freeze up your bearing. Your bearing should be good to go. Got the new bearing out. Well, the stock bearing out. I'll go ahead and open up the new ones. You got a 3x10x4 and you got a 3x8x4. Go ahead and take the new bearing again that I've already. This is a 3x10x4, and this will be in the side panel right here. So you'll go ahead and just throw that back. Once you got the bearings in there, apply one side, apply the pressure, pin in, good to go. Next, this is where it starts getting a little bit more intense. But don't let it intimidate you. It's really not that bad. I got a nice little set of screwdrivers that I got over at Bass Pro. Like $9. A nice little set of fine screwdrivers and whatnot. And honestly, it works wonders. A lot of these screws that are on these reels are extremely tiny, and a lot of the standard Phillips or flats can't really get to it. Before I can even take off the screws, we're going to take off this nut, or the screw right here that holds on this brace for the nut. I'm going to take that off. Set that aside. And if you don't have your schematics with you, when you take your reels apart, one thing that I always do to help me, I will lay the parts out in line. So screw, and I'll put them in line. So I know when I go to put it back together, I need to go from left to right, because I start laying it down from right to left. So we'll do that. Got a little wrench just to pop this guy loose.
take the brace off, take the bolt off. Now there's going to be a spring on here, so it's going to apply some pressure. So what you want to do is take your thumb and force it, put your pinky underneath, your thumb and the pointer finger.
Hold on that way, because if you see it, it's springy. It's going to spring off. Not very hard, but it's still got some handle laying down. Star drag coming off. Here's the bolt, or spring, I'm sorry. Spring. We have this gold spacer. It's on there pretty snug.
It's on there pretty snug, so what we're doing is this. Just enough to take it off. There we go.
That was on there kind of snug. So we'll take this off. This is a gold piece, and I believe there's a couple spacers beneath this as well. But this still has some of the factory grease on it, so it's kind of sticking together pretty well. Yep, gonna have that with a washer and spacer right underneath that. You're gonna take the clicker off. You got one tiny little spacer. And now you're good to go.
And now I'm gonna go ahead and take off these screws.
When you're taking this off, there's gonna be one screw bigger than the other two. There's gonna be two the same size, and one is just gonna be just a slight bit bigger. You want to make sure you remember which is which when you take this off and you go to put it back together. The longer one is gonna go towards the front of the reel. So that's just remember, the longer of the three is gonna go towards the line guide. That's what I always just tell myself, closest towards the line guide, the way the line's going. Nothing's gonna fling at you, you expose the gears. I know it's intimidating. If you want to add, there are some parts you can change out, or some bearings you can change out underneath all this pinion and gears and system and whatnot. I actually haven't dove that deep yet, so I'm just kind of scratching the basic level for you guys. I'm gonna flip this over. The other kit that you're using, or the other bearing you're gonna be taking out, is right here. You can take this other bearing out if you'd like to replace it, but this is one we're not going to be replacing, so I'm going to go ahead and just throw that right back in there. We'll leave her be. But for this, we will pry this open. Again, this is usually a metal piece. It can fling. If you take it out the right way, it won't. And this is a malleable, it's like a bendable metal. So this is, you're going to want to keep it somewhat flat, so when you press it back down there, it applies an opposite force against that bearing and keeps it in there nice and snug. So once you got that out, here's the bearing right here. What I'll do is I'll just go right on this other side, push in here, boink. Out comes the bearing. The spool high-speed bearing right there. I'm gonna throw her on in. And again, I've already lubed, I've already cleaned, flushed, lubed, flushed, and now I'm going for the install here. I know there's a lot of different ways that people install their bearings and prep and prior, blah, blah, blah. This is just my way of doing things. So again, I'm just gonna press this down in there. So it makes it so it's nice and snug. I won't need to be changing these bearings anytime soon, unless I get a super tune kit. There we go, now you're good to go. This is where you just go in reverse. I'm gonna flip this back over. We're gonna grab the whole set. We're gonna press right down in. Boom, boom, boom. The gear will come out. It's okay though.
Again, right to left to right. I'm gonna put the long screw up towards the front.
Go ahead and screw that in just a little bit. I like to do the same way I do the tires. When you put a tire in, you do the little star system, so that way you get an even lockdown on your reel. So you don't worry about stripping a screw or a bolt. I'm gonna do the same thing. There we go. Now we got the side plate back on. Next, what I'm going to do here, work left to right. Washer, your drag clicker, little spacer here. Alright, what I like to do is I like to grab the actual drive shaft or reel shaft, tighten her on down. So you got that on there. Now you got the spring. Next is the stars. For the star drag, there's a washer usually under the handle. Mine's pretty greasy, so it's on there. So make sure you have that as well. See, there's a key. Since there wasn't enough space to put the bolt on, I didn't tighten this down all the way. And what else you can do, this might make it easier, instead of having this just spin freely like that, since you are already done with this side. There we go. Just got a little bit tighter on there. I don't want it too tight, but I want to make sure I have enough room to when I go to put the rest of this on here.
There we go. Again, going back to the, putting a little bit of pressure on there. I'll put the nut back on. If I can find that thread. I'll just tighten this down just a bit. Don't wrench it too hard. Line up this plate over top.
And that, people, is how you put some some speed spool high speed bearings in your Daiwa Tatula. Ooh, that was nice and smooth. What do you think, guys? Pretty smooth. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget, like and subscribe.